the opportunity that I've gotten to be able to go from, the factory floor, in the woods, in the operations at NPC, has given me the ability to kind of bridge the gap from the field to corporate. That boots on the ground approach, learning the business of where things are actually happening, how things are done, is key. And you get the respect from the people in the field, and then you can go to the boardroom, kind of share what's going on, how the company operates, what the culture is, who the people are. And I think that right there is a key piece of leadership as well, is understanding the people across the entire spectrum.
The world of energy and the technology shaping it. I'm Josh Tate, and this is Between Two Turbines. Powered by NAES. Stan Weeks, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I know you've tried to drag me in here a couple times.
I
don't like showcasing very much.
It's okay. I'm just trying not to screw it up because you are my boss. And, so at the end of the day, I'm trying to come prepared.
Nah, man, I work for you guys. That's the way it is.
We always start with just a little history. What ended up bringing you to NAES, and kind of what was your career up to this point?
Yeah, that's a great question, right? So, I've had kind of a diverse career. Out of college, I started at Boeing as an industrial engineer. And spent 3 years doing that in the operations, a 737, 757 at the time. From there, I had some great leaders take me kind of under their wing, bring me part of the engineering skill team, which kind of morphed, long story, into an HR background of where it turned into recruiting, HR management, and so forth.
It's kind of a transition from industrial engineer to HR.
Total transition, right? And people are like, well, why'd you do that? And I think the main reason I did that is because, you get so much different experience. Every day is different, right? The one thing that, from an industrial engineering perspective, and even though that 3-year period I worked from wing, spar line, all the way to final assembly, I loved the operations, but it was kind of the same thing every day.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with HR or you're dealing with varied operations, it's different, right?
Yeah, people can make mistakes in all sorts of ways.
Oh man, and that's the beauty of it, right? Every day is different, so you're challenged, right? And it kind of feeds my, I'm kind of a wound up person anyway, so it kind of feeds that perspective of me wanting something different or moving fast or being able to pivot or maneuver. So
you're a face-to-face guy.
I am a face-to-face guy. I'd rather be face-to-face or in the operations or on a job site than on a Teams meeting or dealing with email. I'd much rather be on the phone than an email, right? So I just think psychology and the relationships with people is where the rubber meets the road.
How does Boeing compare to NAES?
Oh, geez, man. Boeing's a killer company, right?
Yeah.
And all of us are aware of that, right? It's so big, though. It's so big, and there's microcultures within it.
Right.
From an engineering and technology, bar none, it's probably one of the best companies, right?
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, only one of its kind, really.
It's one of its kind, yeah, for sure.
It's cool that it's up here. And
yeah,
you had mentioned it's a little different depending on where you're at. There's microcultures, and I think in a way a lot of companies are like that. It kind of depends on who the leader is. It kind of trickles down from that.
It does, yeah. Yes and no in some aspects, right? It's microcultures, but I think, smaller companies, you're able to control that culture a little more, and that culture comes from the top, and you can kind of drive that. What kind of culture do you want, right? And from a leadership perspective, who you hire drives that culture as well. If you want a inclusive, highly emotional, intelligent culture, I think that you kind of hire for that, right? And there's some companies that hire different DNA, and they don't want that culture, and that's okay. It's kind of the business that they're making, and you'll find those different cultures in Boeing that way, of whether you're in the defense side, when you're in commercial airplanes, or even the sales and marketing and smaller subsets. You'll just see different parts of that.
Yeah, at NAES, what kind of person do you think succeeds here as opposed to other places?
That's a great question, and I will tell you the biggest thing that I've seen from NAES is you have to be open to change. You have to be able to maneuver and pivot quickly.
Yeah.
You have to be very open.
We're kind of surprisingly scrappy in ways.
Oh, I love it, man. That's one of the best things about this company is, and we are scrappy. We maneuver quick. And I think that's what makes us, dominant in the industry from our competitors. Our greatest strength sometimes is our weakness too, is because we say yes, right?
Yeah.
That's the big difference, and it's frustrating.
Sometimes those jobs are hard.
Oh, it's tough, right? And even, from the HR side of my job is we're really good at saying yes. We're not good at saying no, which makes us great business partners.
Yeah.
And that's why the clients like us. They know they come to us. We can solve the problems. We can maneuver. We can bring them on board. We can move quick.
The clients only call.
Clients only call.
We try to be.
Yeah.
It's been interesting for me kind of having this team and developing my own style of leadership as well. I mean, how would you describe your style?
I'm an unconventional leader, right?
Okay.
I really am. And you know that, Josh, because, you report to me directly. But I'll start with leadership quality, right? And I think, the greatest quality a leader can have is humility, right? I'm also a true believer of never forget where you came from, right? And I think that with those two things, humility and never forgetting where you came from, and then when you hire the right team, you don't have to manage them at all. You steer them, you remove barriers for them, you know what I mean? But ultimately, that leadership, those people bring you up. Yeah.
It's interesting because sometimes it's like you got to do less to do more.
100%.
And it's like, well, I got to got to put in these hours, but these guys are just cruising right now. I don't want to get in their way.
That's right. Yeah.
Do you find some people struggle with that concept?
Yeah. I mean, and as you know, I've got all kinds of different people on my team, from HR, to NAES Power Contractors, to E3.
Some marketing.
Communications and marketing, facilities, right? Payroll. There's all different breeds of people in there.
And marketing's your favorite.
Well, yeah, of course, man. You guys are going to make this look good. So I got to, no, honestly, I have favorite teams in different ways, right? Yeah. I love being in the boilers with NPC and just the grit, right? It's an amazing piece of kind of almost stepping back in time, the stuff that these people are doing and how they're operating, right? Sales and marketing, right? I love that, Patrick's flying a drone and the technology piece of this. It's killer, right? And then HR, right? They're able to pivot. They move quick. They read people. I have an amazing team in HR. Payroll. Listen, people forget they get paid every other Friday, right? And there's a lot that goes into that. That is
keep the lights on, and
they keep the lights on. That's a very key team. Very thankless job, right? But you walk over there and see those people and their heads down. It's super dialed in.
Yeah.
And you don't forget facilities either. Of
course,
making things when it's hot outside, it's cool in here.
Exactly. So yeah, I've tried to. The facilities guy, you want to be friends with him.
You do.
Because he can always help you out in a pinch. And so, me and Wayne we have a good relationship.
Yep.
With some of these teams, I just wonder, is it difficult managing more of a technical team? Can't be an expert at everything, but what's that like? A lot of trust goes into those leaders within those groups.
Yeah, definitely. And by far, I am not the smartest guy, right? So I rely on my teams, and I ask a lot of questions, and I ask for forgiveness. I really do. Sure. I surround myself with the best, smartest people possible. If I have built trust with them and credibility, I ask the questions and I learn as much as I can. But ultimately, it's them. It's not me, right? I just try to steer this in the right direction. I try to set the expectation that comes from the shareholder to the CEO and drive those results and share that with the team.
And I think those types of questions offer a certain vulnerability, because I think people a lot of times are scared to kind of show their hand. And it's like when you're the leader, at the end of the day, you have to say, look, you got to make this make sense to me.
Yep.
And that what my limitation is here, so say it in layman's terms at this point, and let's make a decision.
Yeah, definitely.
I find a lot of times decisions can be made much more quickly than they often are. I find with your style, it's like, just give me a bullet point, the facts, maybe your recommendation, and then let's go from there.
That's exactly how I do it, Josh. You hit the nail on the head, right? I do that. I feel bad in some aspects because the job that I have and the size, the role, I don't have a lot of time, right? So I just need the high points. Tell me what's going on.
Right.
Where are we at? What do we need to solve for? The one key thing, I think anybody that's worked for me a while, I'm like, bring me a solution. Bring me the solution, and then let's determine, right? Because if this sounds, this sounds a little harsh, but if I have to solve for it, why do I need you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's solve together.
Yeah.
And I think that's a key piece.
Something I struggled a little bit earlier in my career, and I think it's kind of the natural path, is saying yes to everything. And sometimes you actually just have to set expectations, like, hey, this is impossible, or, I can do my best to meet this, but here's what it's going to cost to get there. How do you kind of train that transparency, or how do you pull that out of people? Because I think it's hard sometimes. You get people that are productive and they want to say yes, and you're like, I don't know if this is going to come through or not.
Yeah, I believe in giving a person all the freedom they can, that they need, right? Open the track up, let them run down it, but keep them in it. So it's setting that expectation, but a big part of that is trust, right? If your employees trust you and know that you're thinking best intent for them, they're going to operate fearlessly. Mistakes are okay. We can fix anything that's broken here, bottom line, right? So if they're operating fearlessly and they're maneuvering and they're working that way, I think that's key.
How do you respond to mistakes? I mean, they happen, obviously, but how do you preserve that trust while, also making sure that type of thing doesn't happen again in the future? I mean, what's the balance there?
Happens all the time, man. So here's the first mistake. Not a big deal. Tell me what happened. What's the root cause analysis? How do we fix that? Second time, if it's the same mistake, I'm starting to question, like, okay, what happened?
Is it a competence thing?
What's going on here?
Thing?
Third time, I'm like, okay, now we're starting to look stupid. So we can't. Now we need to adjust. Now there's a whole different situation if there's 3 mistakes, right?
So this year you've taken on something new, PCNC. What is that? We got a lot of acronyms.
Oh, man, yeah.
What's this
so
one?
Power contracting and consulting, right?
Okay.
So really what that is it's NPC, NAES Power Contractors. That's the union arm of NAES doing outage and maintenance work, right? E3, engineering consulting. Basically, that's the smartest engineers in the business solving problems for clients.
Your role with them, I mean, what are you thinking about day to day? Obviously, a lot of these they're running themselves, but how much are you steering and how much are you letting them go?
Listen, these are the teams, right? I'll start with NPC. With NPC, it's operations, right? So that was kind of a rebuild, diversification of work, diversification of the team, driving results, setting expectations, maybe starting with a little chaos at first, and then I'll say kind of formalizing and normalizing that. And now that business is humming, right? I mean, it's on fire. It's working well. We're just getting warmed up.
Yeah.
But again, I have a great team that surrounds me in that business, right? I mean, if you look at Steve Cox, Bates Sakos, Shane, it's a killer team all in all, and they're all working towards the same goal.
Is it sometimes just not a forest from the trees thing where it's like you have a team that's as effective as they are? It's not like you taking over has made them take some kind of leap, but it's just making adjustments here. Let's focus here. Let's maybe let's eliminate this service. Or, I mean, what's your thought process when it goes to, P&L at the end of the day?
I think no matter what you do when you take on a business like that, right, is there's 2 things that I do personally. First, I love the operations piece, right? And we can go back into more of,
you're HR, a people guy.
HR and a people guy, although, I find myself to be extroverted, or people find myself to be extroverted, but in reality, Josh, sometimes I'm more introverted.
Yeah.
I need the time kind of by myself to reflect and process.
Yeah.
But then I get the energy from the people, right? But there's a balance. You know what I mean? From an NPC perspective or NE3, anytime I've taken on a new business, I do a couple different things. One, I learn the people. What are they doing? Who are they? What do they think is right and wrong about the business?
Yeah.
Then I do a fit gap analysis. Okay, like what are the fits? What are the gaps here? How are we doing it, right? And then from there, I work with the team and I build the foundation. What's our vision, mission, and goals?
Yeah.
And from there, I kind of develop, okay, where do we want to go? And we is key, right? I know what the shareholder expects. I know what the CEO expects.
Right.
But I need to understand, what is the team willing? Are they willing to drive? Are they willing to make the sacrifices? What do they want? And is it possible from a market perspective, demand perspective, so forth? And we get off and running. But it takes time. That takes time. Especially in a service industry like NAES overall. If you don't have the work, you're displacing somebody else. You got to get it. And so we focus on, at least in NPC, and I would say even NAES overall, is safety's key. It's always number one, and quality, right? So anytime I go on a job site for NPC and I'm walking, I mean, we were just at Colstrip with Talent Energy.
Yeah.
And then we went to Yellowstone Project in Billings there. We're focused on safety, and then it's quality. And then the client knows that. When I meet with the client, I always ask, how are we doing? You feel like things are safe? Are our guys dialed in? How's our quality of work?
Right.
And the last thing they said to me was, the last person will never be on this side again. You guys will be here all the time. Well, I want to keep that, right? That can go away in an instant.
Until a person has a bad experience, sometimes that value isn't always apparent.
That's right.
Like, we could get it done ourselves. Or,
Yep.
But it's nice not having that concern. We have pretty deep bench, pretty talented people.
Oh, man.
A lot of experts, a lot of, some comes up, we'll probably have somebody that can help.
Yep. Especially if you look at, back to E3, brightest engineers in the business. I mean, by far the smartest people I've ever dealt with. I mean, scary. I can't help them with their jobs at all, right?
Yeah.
What I can do is learn from them, get an understanding of what that really means, how we solve clients' problems, how do we diversify that work, whether it's oil and gas, renewables, battery energy storage, transmission.
Right.
I think you cast a wide net, and I think you work towards that. But then, again, that's where, clients have a choice. And so what's going to separate you from your competitors?
I want to go back to kind of the topic of leadership a little bit. Not necessarily a saying, but I've heard this concept shared that, an A leader will look for A-level employees, and a B-level employer manager often looks to get away from A-level employees, and maybe out of insecurity. Or have you experienced that with some leaders where there's a little bit of like, because in my shoes, a lot of times I'm like, look, I'm not the video guy, I'm not that, but I want you to fly. I mean, if you're better at your job and, that leads you upward and onward, like, that's great. I'm happy for it.
Some leaders, or I'll say some people in general, are afraid that their job's going to get taken over by somebody else,
Sure.
right?
You're going to get exposed.
You're going to get exposed. I'm like, that's not how I operate.
Yeah.
I want the best. I want the smartest. I want them to take my job. Matter of fact, anybody that's interviewed with me or people on my team, my goal is to develop you the best I can, right? I want you to get calls from headhunters. I want you to be recruited.
Sure.
I want you to take my job at some point,
Sure,
and do it better, right?
Yeah.
I think that's key.
I think it's almost a validation as well, because at a company like NAES, where it is a people company, you got to hire good people.
You have to. Yep.
Well, do you have, in that hiring process, I'm sure you've hosted a lot of interviews, and, are there any common red flags or green flags that you see in those kind of settings?
Yeah. I mean, this comes down to the basis, right? If somebody's constantly saying, I find that to be a problem, right? There's nothing you do by yourself, not in a business. and you can't know everything all the time,
Mm-hmm.
especially not at NAES, man. We have too much going on here.
Yeah.
So I hire team players.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a team player. And I try to hire different people that know different stuff, right? Because if you hire everybody the same, well, that doesn't get you anywhere.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes I think you can see a person like, this guy's an all-star, you know what I mean? But maybe you see a personality conflict, or, you know, sometimes those types of people can be a little bit edgy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how do you balance that? Because you want people that are effective and you want to preserve the culture, and sometimes the preservation comes with somebody that's a little bit more of a slow mover.
Yep.
How do you balance that?
That's a good question, right? I mean, first of all, I think you have to put people in the right role. You know what I mean? And then I think that there's some teaming involved in that as well. So if you understand your team
Mm-hmm.
and you understand the people on it, you understand how to manage them. Like, for example, how I work with you, Josh, is completely different of how I work with one of the other leaders on my team, right?
Sure.
It's not the same. So I have to pivot, or I have to be a bit of a chameleon
Mm-hmm.
to motivate you or motivate the other person. So I think that's a big piece of it, right? Is being able to morph and change a little bit in the aspect of how you deal with each person.
And everybody kind of responds differently to motivation.
Totally. Yep.
Some people, it's like they just really like the work and they just, you know.
Yep.
Have you ever had an experience where you had someone, you know, they're great, but it's just they just stop caring? Or how do you turn that around?
Well, hey man, that's, you know, and that can happen to anybody at any time, right?
Yeah, I mean, life stuff comes up.
Hey,
and
that's very key. You bring up a good point. You never know what's happening behind closed doors,
Mm-hmm.
or what's going on in someone's personal life.
Right.
So, one, you still have to think best intent. Two, you have to give people some grace and understanding of, you know, maybe they're having a bad day, maybe they're having a bad week.
Yeah.
How do you work with that, right? Now, there's sometimes we're still running a business, and as much grace I would love to give,
Yeah, there's a balance.
there's a balance, right? So there's times when you just go, hey, we have to agree to disagree. This isn't working.
Yeah, this is what I need.
And that's setting those expectations and having a good plan, developing that plan. And typically it ends in a good place of you're either parting ways or they're getting the message that we need these results.
Mm-hmm. If I have, you know, feedback I need to give, I want to give it as soon as I see the thing.
Yep.
I want to get it out of the way.
Yep.
Hey, this is a big deal. This is what I'm seeing. Let's change that, or, you know, keep it low stakes. But I can imagine in your role, you have to be the bad guy sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What's that
Yeah.
responsibility like? I mean, it's, you know, obviously you're given a lot. You like the job, but I imagine sometimes there are some not so fun days.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's what keeps me up at night, man. Making some of those decisions or reorganizing a team,
Mm-hmm.
You know, changing the strategy per se.
Mm-hmm.
That's what keeps me up at night. That's wakes me up at 2, 3 in the morning.
And sometimes those people aren't going to understand.
They won't understand. And there's hurt feelings. You know what I mean?
And everybody's intentions are good. You know, maybe the market changed, or
right. And they don't know what's going on behind the scenes, or
Mm-hmm.
you know, when you're trying to think best intent for them, some of that you can't control, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a tough part of the job right there. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you. I mean, I don't like it all the time, Josh. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But because you're affecting somebody's life.
Yeah,
That's the hard part.
I felt that way with you know, the marketing team is like bringing like, oh man, you're traveling out here, like you're moving your life, and
Yeah.
I feel that sense of responsibility. Like, I don't want to let you guys down.
That's right. Yeah.
Like, I want to bring you out here, and I want it to be what you're expecting, and I want you to be able to grow in the ways you anticipated and hoped for. And it's been great. I mean, from my experience, it is there's that life-giving element to it.
Yep.
It's like, hey, it's fun time when yearly raises come around, and
Yeah.
you know, you kind of celebrate with the team in that way, and
Oh yeah.
that feels good.
It does. You know, back to, you know, early career days, you know, after Boeing, I went to Weyerhaeuser. And when I was at Weyerhaeuser, Forest Products, Timberlands, I mean, that's with the loggers in the field.
Mm-hmm.
I worked throughout that business quite a bit. The most I ever learned was from the crews in the woods, right? You're on a landing, they're running machinery, guys are working saws. You want an honest answer of where you stand.
Right.
They don't care. They're going to give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Good or bad.
Yeah.
That's when it puts it in perspective of what these guys are doing every day, how they're doing it, the impact they have on the business. Same thing at NPC. These guys are in the boilers.
Yeah.
Right? They're welding.
They're in the trenches.
They're in the trenches.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's making money for the business.
Right.
Right.
And there's that level of respect of your job doesn't exist without what they're doing on the ground.
100%. And they do not care about what corporate's doing.
Yeah, sure.
Right. And
whatever newsletter's coming through.
They don't care. And I love that piece of it.
Yeah.
Right? I love the honesty.
Salt of the earth.
The salt of the earth.
Yeah.
I love the grit. That's for me is where it all starts right there.
Mm-hmm. In World War II, Winston Churchill, he had people reporting to him, kind of say, here's the status of things. And he had some level of suspicion that maybe they're not giving him the full story. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're, skewing it a little bit. And so he had agents, to give him a more unbiased report of what's actually happening on the ground. And my understanding is it helped him make decisions that, maybe that was the catalyst to things going the way they did. But I think any great leader, like you said, there's a level of humility where you have to be open to information you don't want to hear.
Yep.
And you have to be actually actively seeking it sometimes. How do you foster that kind of level of transparency and honesty? Like, I'm going to tell you the truth, even if it hurts, even if, whoever it makes look bad, but because you got to know.
Yep. Relationships. It's building the trust and credibility with your team. Mm-hmm. And that's not just from your leaders, but all the way down. Now, the bigger your team gets, harder it is to do that, right?
Absolutely.
But you rely on your leaders that they're going to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that has to go downward though too. Those leaders have to have their direct reports, right?
Right.
Whether it's director, manager, that has to permeate through the organization so the truth. Mm-hmm. Now, there's always fear in that aspect. You know what I mean? But again,
people don't want to be thrown under the bus.
No, but if you have trust and credibility, mm-hmm. And it's okay to make a mistake.
Sure.
But again, back to don't make the same mistake 3 times.
Don't be a bonehead. I mean?
Yeah. I think that's where, that's really where it comes from. It's just that trust and credibility. I have to bring it back to you build relationships. Mm-hmm. And, we spend more time with people here at work than we do with people at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's where it's like, I want to have really good relationships. I want to enjoy where I'm at. I want to enjoy the people I work with. Mm-hmm. And have fun every day, right? You have to have fun doing this too. We spend way too much time here not to have a good time.
Yeah, it's true. I think about that. Like, I hope these guys like being around me, or I hope I don't. I want to be able to add to their life as well. And like you said, they got to see 8 hours a day. So
that's right. Yeah.
I've seen. I don't know if maybe it's just movies, but I was born in '93, and it seems like some of the '80s, '90s. Some of the workplace, I think the culture around the manager and employee has changed a little bit. I remember some of my earliest jobs getting yelled at and but it seems like that kind of stuff is it's changed a bit. Do you think that's true?
Oh yeah, 100%, right? And I think it's changed, and I also think that you have to work hard to retain employees now, right? I think
standards.
Oh yeah, totally, right? I mean, listen. There was times, it was normal for somebody to get a job and mm-hmm. they would stay 20 years in that job.
Right.
You look at resumes now and people are bouncing around.
2-3 years.
2-3 years. I don't even think you can get good at your job unless you've been there 2 years. Then you start getting traction. You start getting good at it. You know what I mean?
It's true. You got to build up the systems, maybe get rid of some, and you're not really the rubber hasn't really met the road until 2 years in, it seems like.
I think so. And then honestly, and not a lot of managers are going to want to hear this, but I don't think somebody should stay 20 years in their first job either. Mm-hmm. I don't. I think you should bounce 2-3 times, not 2-3 years, but I think you should give, 3-4 years a job and then move on and bring those best practices to another career.
Yeah.
And then find your niche, because you have to get exposed, right? And then I also think that adversity that you encounter at different jobs with different people, that builds character.
Totally.
And with that character, you become a better manager, you become a better employee, and you bring better ideas to the table.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I remember taking things too personally earlier in my career and, being maybe too vocal about my ideas. And, the truth is you're working with other people. It's in your best interest for them to like you. And, it's amazing how much more you get with honey than vinegar.
Oh, totally right. I mean, especially, people laugh at me, as managing recruiting. I'm like, when you get on the phone with a candidate, smile.
Definitely.
Because that smile can be felt and heard on the other end of the line.
Definitely.
Right. And so you bring positivity. I'm very big on positivity. You have to, the glass needs to be half full all the time. Mm-hmm. Right. Negativity gets you nowhere in life.
Yeah.
You think positive. If you breed negativity or you think negative about your team, yourself, you're already setting up a bad situation.
Yeah. And why would somebody want to work for you?
That's right. And your body doesn't know the difference. When you talk bad about yourself, or you talking bad about other people, that doesn't do you any good, man. Your body sees it as negativity. You have to focus on the positive. Yeah,
I think I had to get that way. I mean, everybody has difficult family members, but you kind of grow up one day and say, they're trying their best.
That's right.
They're trying their best.
Yep.
They may not see it. Maybe they're lacking some self-awareness, or they're not open to feedback. But, at the end of the day, everybody's trying their best. And I think oftentimes... I mean, I've had some managers where it's like, I was a kid. I was still figuring stuff out, and I think rubbed them the wrong way. And it's like, I needed a little more grace. I needed a little more hand over the shoulder, your arm over the shoulder. And you enjoy that aspect of it, seeing people kind of, I've seen junior member on my team grow, and I like that. It's like maybe not parental, but I feel like that mentor-mentee relationship is a special one.
Oh, big time. I think, as a leader, that's part of your job.
Yeah. And some people don't seem to relish that as much as others.
Yeah. I think it varies, right? It varies, but it's a key piece. And I think that, that goes a long ways to being able to do that. Right. Now, also from a leadership perspective, though, is you're learning each other. Right. And I think, for me, it might take a while for kind of somebody to figure out where I'm coming from, because I have I'm pretty high energy, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and you're juggling a lot.
I'm juggling a lot, but I'm high energy anyway. I'm high energy in my personal life. I'm high energy here at work.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty aggressive, and I expect kind of that aggressive, relentless attack as well in business.
It's like, let's not say no. How can we say yes to
How do we say yes? How do we solve for it, right? So it's that kind of that aggressive, relentless attack on how do you operate in the business? Mm-hmm. What are our expectations? What are our goals? How are we going to make money?
Right.
Okay, that's one piece of the business. From an HR perspective, it's how are we going to solve complex problems?
Right.
How are we going to mitigate risk for the company? How are we going to take care of employees?
I think what's trained me better than anything is my mom. It was a big... she'd just say no to things, and I'd have to think, how can I work this out till I get what I'm looking for here? It's honestly though, I think I've gotten a little scrappy. Is how do we? Okay, this is the budget, but this is the vision. Yeah. Let's figure out how do we squeeze it into that.
Yeah, I've lived that with you, Josh. You're pretty good at maneuvering. You don't really take no for an answer. So.
Yeah. Hey, well, we I don't know. I want to do work that I feel proud of. I think just at a basic level, and I want to be around people that feel the same.
Yep.
It's like, I think there's been a shift socially that, your work doesn't necessarily define you. It's it's what you do, not who you are. But there was that time where I think is, this is who I am.
Yeah.
My occupation. And I think from there we almost went into a phase of, we're like family here. And now it's like, well, no, not exactly family. It is it's a business relationship, and there's a lot to balance there.
There is a lot to balance, yeah.
You gotta, at the end of the day, it's like, I think what I wish I could have taught my younger self was be really good at setting expectations. If you're saying I'm doing this thing, always sell low and then deliver above and beyond that if you can.
Yep.
And, I think it's lip service that bothers me is I'm not necessarily always a man of many words, but, I think action obviously it counts 100 times more than words.
Totally agree. And that's key in the aspect. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to deliver on it. Right. I'm not going to tell you, that lip service that you're talking about, I'm not going to tell you that I can do something if I know that I can't do it.
Right.
Now, I will tell you, honestly, okay, I'm going to take some risks. I don't know where this is going to end up, but mm-hmm. I can't guarantee that. You know what I mean? So, and it's the same way with the teams that I currently have. It's if we say we're going to do something, we're going to deliver on it. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to just tell you and give you lip service and tell you what you want to hear. I just will not do that.
Yeah. Sometimes for me, it's here's what I think the outcome will be. I don't think it's what you're looking for, but we're going to do everything we can to get to where,
that's right.
That becomes a possibility.
Yep.
I imagine a lot of people in your role or a similar role may not have that firsthand experience. Has that shaped the way that you lead people?
Totally shaped the way I lead people. I think that that builds everything. The opportunity that I've gotten to be able to go from, the factory floor, in the woods, in the operations at NPC, has given me the ability to kind of bridge the gap from the field to corporate. That boots on the ground approach, learning the business of mm-hmm. where things are actually happening, how things are done, is key. And you get the respect from the people in the field, and then you can go to the boardroom, kind of share what's going on, how the company operates, what the culture is, who the people are. And I think that right there is a key piece of leadership as well, is understanding the people across the entire spectrum. I grew up a little more blue collar, right? Yeah. So I worked, I worked some tough jobs on farms,
sure.
Ran machinery, did some construction work, ran landscaping crews.
Yeah. You know what it's like to be out in the sun.
I know what it's like to be in the sun.
Yeah.
I also know, and I will say, respect what it feels like going to work every day like that and just getting your butt kicked.
I mean, those guys and gals are doing things so we get to enjoy a air-conditioned office, and that's a privilege too.
Totally. I mean, and I'll bring it back to the Boilermakers at NPC, the men and women that are inside those boilers.
Yeah.
And confined spaces, welding, and they're just in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, they have choices too, and of course they make good money doing it, but
sure. It's
dangerous, it's dirty.
Yeah.
While we sit here at corporate in our clean offices and the AC on,
yeah.
Right? I just never forget where the money's being made.
Yeah. And I think NAES lives that. You kind of have to. I mean, it's the backbone of the company.
That's right. Yeah.
Stan, I appreciate all the time. It's been a great conversation, and hopefully we can have you back again.
Well, if you'll have me back for sure, just you make it easy on me. I'll try my best.
I'm not very good at this stuff.
But
no, this was great.